Hi there, my name is Agona and today we're gonna talk on how to stay unforgettable. Before we start, I'd like to address a silly question I get every now and then. The silly question is, Agona, where do you get your knowledge from? You're not a certificated psychologist, which I am not, but I have the honor to get my knowledge from God. By the way, every human being can get their knowledge from higher powers. I will also never ever believe humans and their science and their studies more than I believe in God and my experience. There's nothing bad about having a certificate or doing a study, okay? But I trust more in the higher powers than I do in the school system. And I want to address this because I every now and then read or just get a message or someone says something to me. I also hear it from other spiritual teachers, from other spiritual practitioners or coaches that every now and then they get this question. And my experience is that my life and my mental state didn't change when I went to a psychologist. My life and my mental state changed in a positive way when I started to believe the people who have experience and who have this knowledge in their heart, who have the knowledge from higher powers. I'd like to give the example of farmers. Hundreds and hundreds years ago, these farmers didn't go to school to get their knowledge, right? Where did they get it from? Also, since I've been a child, I've been obsessed with human behavior. No matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always observing. I am always collecting my data. Not in a bad way, okay? I'm just very interested into human behavior. We start with number 1, heal your wounds. I made a video where I explain how to heal your wounds. Why is it important to heal the wounds? When you heal your wounds, when you look at everything inside you, you become so confident in yourself. There's nothing that makes you more confident than finding back to yourself, than getting to know who you truly are, who your soul is. When you start to realize what your strengths are, what do you have to improve, what your wounds are, your triggers, what your belief system is, what you have gone through as a child. When you heal that and you realize who you are, nothing outside of you can shake you. When you stand grounded with yourself, when you have enough knowledge about yourself, this is the only way to confidence. There's no such thing as a formula to behave like that, to have manners like that. You have to find back to yourself. I also say that I am not a fan of always talking about your past and your traumatic experiences, because you become what you talk about. When you say you are miserable because of your past, you will get miserable because of your past. Because, like I always say, your belief system shapes your reality. And if you keep talking about your past, then this is a sign for you that you have to heal something. Again, I will link the video down below on how to heal the wounds. Get back to that experience and tell yourself what you needed in that time, okay? I know sometimes this sounds a bit delulu, woo-woo, whatever you want to call it, but the past, the present, and the future all exist at the same time. When you start to understand the universe, you will understand what I said with that. It is important when your past self needs you and keeps sending you certain experiences as images, or if you, like I said, feel the urge to talk about your past, talk about something that hurt you very much, then it is time for you to heal that, okay? Your past self needs you. I also like the saying of, if you tell something to someone, you maybe just want advice. But if you tell it more than one person, you just want attention. This attention you have to give yourself. You have to give your heart and your past self, okay? And I'm gonna mention it again. It will not help to only talk about it, okay? You really have to get deeper than that. If you heal your wounds, I will say 80% of your problems, of the things you did, of your behavior that wasn't nice, will remove from itself. Every now and then people tell me, not only men, that they find me very mysterious, that they find it very interesting that I don't tell everything from me and that I don't talk so much. And I don't do it on purpose, okay? And I know there are people who recommend to behave a certain way, to have certain manners, to say certain things or to not say certain things. In my opinion, these behaviors and these manners will come from your nature. If you find back to your heart, if you know who you truly are, you become so confident that there is no other choice for you than being authentic. And being your authentic self is so unique and so beautiful. Everything else will be a copy, right? If you start to live about recommendations, to behave like that, to dress like that, to sit like that, to only talk that way, you're just copying an idea. You're just copying a certain person. You have to find back to your heart. You have to find back to your authentic self. This is the only way, okay, that will make you confident and that will make you unforgettable, because someone like you will not exist a second time. No one in this universe has the same DNA like you. Imagine that. Also, people feel when you are not authentic. And as someone who feels a lot of things also from others, inauthentic people to me are very boring. I cannot listen to them, and I'm actually not very sorry for that, but I know everything they're saying to me is either copied or is learned from outside sources. It's not primarily their experience or their opinion. People feel when you are inauthentic. So, find back to yourself, heal your wounds, and become so confident that the only option for you is to be authentic, to talk in an authentic way, to behave in an authentic way, to just be yourself, okay? What I also like to say is that they actually measured what the highest frequency is in a human body, and it is authenticity. If you watched my videos, if you did some research on the universe, on energies, you know that your energy you put out to the universe, the signal you put to the universe, will attract the similar things. So if you're being in the highest possible frequency, imagine what kind of things you keep attracting to you. Let's get into the second chapter. Heal your attachment style. The attachment theory was created by John Bowley, a British psychologist. If you never heard of it, the book Attached from Dr. Amir Levin and Rachel Heller will help you with that. Every human being has a certain attachment style. Let's get into the 4 different attachment styles. There is the secure one. More than 50% of the population have a secure attachment style. This is our goal. We want to be secure. Usually they are very warm, very loving, they are comfortable with intimacy and have no problem to get close to other humans. Then we have the anxious attachment style. These are about 20% of the population. They do crave intimacy, but they also constantly worry if their partner loves them enough or if they will lose something or someone. Let's get to the avoidant attachment style. These are about 25% of the population. They equate intimacy with the loss of independency. They are scared of getting too close to another human being. Then we have the fearful avoidant, which is a mix of the avoidant and the anxious attachment style. These are only about 3 to 5% of the population. They crave intimacy, but at the same time they are very scared of it. Why is that important for us? Our attachment styles don't play only a big role in our relationships, romantically or just in friendships, but also they just show us how we navigate life. Someone who has an anxious attachment style usually is very anxious about everything, about their goals, about their lives, about their finances. Someone who has an avoidant attachment style usually is very avoidant with their goals or with what they want, with their happiness, right? The goal is to become secure in any way, not only in romantic relationships or friendships, but in life in general. Because secure people have a certain trust in life. They don't have the urge to control things. They just trust that everything will work out. And if not, it still worked out. Your attachment style creates a large part of your energy and of your signal. When you are someone who is very anxious and you keep sending these signals out to the universe, you will attract the experiences that confirm your fears. And if you are someone who is avoidant, then sometimes they keep attracting very easily things into their lives or people because they mastered because they mastered the law of detachment, right? The law of detachment shows us that if you are detached of a certain outcome, of a certain person, of a certain goal you have, then you will get it more easily. You will attract it more easily. Because when you are too attached to it, when you keep sending the signal of, I need to have that, then what will the universe give you back? The need to have it, right? So the avoidance sometimes keep attracting a lot of things because of the fact that they are not that attached to the outer world, but usually they either lose it very easily again or they don't feel fulfilled. How do we heal our attachment style? Find the root cause of why you got a certain attachment. Now, I am not the fan of generalizing things and saying the root cause of a problem is always this, that's why you created a certain belief and that's why you have this reality. Two persons can experience the same thing at the same time and they will create different traumas, different wounds and different beliefs out of it. That's why it is so important to get to know yourself and your story, okay? If we have to generalize, then they say anxious people usually have a fear of abandonment. Avoidant people usually have a fear of losing their freedom. Now, I also like to share my story because I feel it always helps to get an explanation to something. I grew up in a dangerous household and not healthy household. I never saw a loving relationship or a safe relationship. In fact, I never felt really safe in my household, right? So you could assume that I became either avoidant or anxious or maybe a mix of it. But thinking back, I have always been very secure with everyone and everything. I always had a certain trust in me, even though I grew up with a lot of fears and a lot of beliefs that were not healthy for me. When I got into my last relationship, this was a relationship of 6 years. In the beginning, I've been very secure, like always. Love me or love me not, I have a beautiful life with or without you. After a time, I became very anxious because not only I went through major mental abuse, but because I was so dependent on him, and I was very scared to lose everything. When I broke up with him, I, for a short amount of time, became a little avoidant. That meant I was not interested into talking about my feelings, especially not related to men. After a time, I met, I always call him Mr. X. Now, Mr. X was an avoidant, okay? And he taught me so much because, like I always say, everything in your life is a mirror, especially relationships are a direct reflection on what you believe about yourself and relationship in general. He showed me that not only I became very avoidant, but also I started to avoid my dreams. I started to avoid my life. I just was surviving, right? People who dealt with avoidance don't like to look back on the avoidance. You guys are not unforgettable. And if you are unforgettable, then not in a good way, okay? Even though you teach us a lot of things. From my heart to yours, it is time to heal, okay? Because you are harming a lot of people without even realizing it. And not only people, but also yourself. Now, I also discovered that some people who had a very, very traumatic childhood became very avoidant because their nervous system, their body, their mind didn't know how to handle this traumatic experience, that everything just shut off. They just avoid everything and anything, especially related to emotions. Now, people with a secure attachment style can inspire the people who have an anxious or avoidant attachment style to heal. I like to say that it is not our duty to heal them. You can always inspire and you can always help. I always like to say you can show someone this is the path, this is the way, but they have to walk on themselves. Don't lose too much energy and too much time into people who don't want to heal, okay? We can inspire, we can help, but it is not our duty. Everyone has to heal on themselves. This was a lot of information about the attachment styles and the theory. Energetically and in a spiritual way, I just want to say that every attachment style has a certain belief stored, right? And everything you believe, you keep attracting. Your attachment style is sending a certain signal to the universe, and that's why you keep experiencing these things. Take it always as a learning, but when you heal your attachment style, I will promise your life will get so much better. You will attract everything you like. You will attract the things that you truly want and truly love. You will be so secure and so grounded in your energy and so powerful that nothing can shake you. Nothing from the outside can shake you and make you question. And now we come to chapter 3, be genuine. Have you ever looked back on a person and thought, oh, I miss this person because this person hurt me so much? Or have you ever looked back on a person that betrayed you and you thought, I miss this person because of that? No, right? You always only look back on the person who helped you, who inspired you, who loved you. I get chills everywhere. So when I got my awakening 2 years ago, I discovered that love is so much more than I realized. I don't believe in that term, you can only love someone after 3 months into knowing someone. And even though I am very careful with people who love bomb you. There's a big difference, okay? But if you heal yourself, then most likely you will not attract these people into life, or you will see through them very, very easily. I discovered that when I meet someone who really touches my heart, my soul, I love them. And I will always love them, no matter what mistake they do. Because my soul loves your soul, right? One of my biggest goals in life is to love unconditionally, because I feel this is really a goal that every human being has. Maybe they're not aware of that, but become like God, right? And God loves unconditionally. And so should you, and so should we all, because when we love all unconditionally, I promise you the world would look so much different. Help whenever you can. Give that compliment. Give what you can. Help people, love people, spread love. And I promise, when you healed yourself, when you found back to yourself, when you start to fill your energy into your own cup until it starts to overload, you cannot help but give your love away. And love is very healing, okay? I always make sure that when I have to let go of someone, or when I had a discussion with someone, that we end things in love. I always make sure of that, because it's just for my heart, honestly. I want to be in peace with everything and everyone. And maybe they are not with me in peace, but I know from a lot of people who remember me, or who every now and then just text me, "Hey Agona, I hope you're doing well." Not because they want something from me, but just to tell me, "I'm here, I'm thinking of you, I love you, thank you for everything." And for me, there's nothing more beautiful than knowing that there are a lot of people who love you unconditionally, who will always love you, no matter if you see them or not. And these people only can meet you where you are. So if you start to love unconditionally, and with that, I don't mean you should allow wrong people to cross your boundaries every now and then. I am very strict with my boundaries. If you cross over my boundary one time, most likely I don't want to see you again in my life. But I will still love you. Sometimes I will tell you, sometimes I will not. But I will always send love to you. Because like I said, we are here to experience. We are here to learn. And maybe you didn't do it on purpose. Maybe you are still learning. That's okay. I decide who I let in my life, but I still will love everyone and everything, because only with love we can rise. Only with love can this earth become a better place. Only with love you will attract your dream life. Love is really the answer to everything, so make sure you unlocked your unconditional love, because in my opinion it is really one of the biggest goals we have as humans. Before we go back to God, we have to make sure that we know how to love unconditionally. And yeah, give back, help, and love as much as you can. Even a compliment can change a whole perspective, a whole belief system of someone. So give back, give love. People love remembering people who helped them. People always will remember how you made them feel, not what you said. So make sure you make people feel good, make people feel loved, because I'm sure you want the same. And like I always say, what you give, you will receive. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your energy. Thank you if you stayed until here. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions or anything you want to add on, I would be so happy to read it in the comments. And if you want to learn more about everything God and the universe has to offer us, I would be so happy to see you in my next video. Bye.